Hello my quilting friends! My name is Leah Day and welcome to Quilted and Bound. This is a fun video and article series put together with Quiltmaker Magazine and the Grace Company. In this video, I want to teach you how to accent your patchwork, how to stitch it up a notch by designing your own quilting motifs. So what is a quilting motif? This is a design that goes on our patchwork that just accents our piecing. And this is something, it's easier to think about applique when you're thinking a quilting motif because that's what we're wanting. We're wanting an almost standalone design. And the nice thing is we can go more intricate than applique because we can create this entirely with quilting stitches. So let's learn how to design these motifs in 5 simple steps. The first step is to trace your patchwork. Try and find the most accurate block on your quilt, and you're going to trace the seam lines, both the outside and then any element that you want to accent. So in this case, I traced the leaf shape as well. Now let's start to use symmetry to our advantage. Take your paper and fold it in half diagonally and press it to create a crease line going in both directions. Go on ahead and draw that so you have a diagonal running through both corners of the block. Now, I don't like to clobber my patchwork with motifs that are really big, so I also like to trace inside of any shape and give myself a buffer of about 1/4 of an inch. So in this case, I sketched inside, and now I can start designing my motif, knowing that I only need to draw something that's going to fit into that space. Being able to draw only 1/4, or in this case down here, only half of that triangle shape means that you're not going to have to do that much drawing, and it really cuts down on the intimidation of designing your own motif. Now for step 3. Figure out an inspiration and just come up with 1/4 of this design in the center. So in this case, my inspiration was a vintage glass ornament. I just sketched some curves, some stars on the inside. Now for the triangle, I realized that I didn't have enough space to fit stars in this corner, but I could do 1/4 of a star shape here and then repeat that in each of the corners of these blocks, and that it would create a star shape only when all the blocks came together. So this is part of that design. I only had to draw half of it, and I think that's going to work great. Now we simply fold the paper in half and sketch through the tracing paper in order to duplicate the design. So in this case, I took the triangle in the corner, flipped it over, and was able to easily draw the rest of that shape to create that motif. Very simple. For this shape, I wanted to make sure that my circle was going to come out the right size. So I folded the paper this way in order to create that half of the motif first. And then now I can see, yes, I like that, and I'm ready to transfer it to the opposite side. By carefully folding the paper over and tracing, I formed my final motif, and I'm very happy with it. At any point in time you don't like something, simply use the eraser on the end of your pencil to erase and try again. Your last step, once you have a finished sketched motif, is to scan it into your computer and clean it up with the computer graphics program, something like Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw. And that's going to help you get nice, straight, even lines and even better symmetry. So there is my final quilting motif, ready to stitch out. So there are lots of different ways that you can quilt your motifs. You can mark the quilt top with a marking pencil and quilt on the marked lines. You could try and use rulers to help guide the design. But my favorite method now is to digitize the design and let a computer program quilt it for me. So I have loaded this into QCT, that's Quilter's Creative Touch 5. Now, the awesome thing about this is these blocks weren't exactly perfect, and using a computer program allows me to fit the design into the block as it was pieced, meaning slightly distorted, and this design is actually fitting into the block the best possible way it can. And you know, the thing about quilting with a computer program is you get a lot of design options. You start to understand how to use motifs in your quilts. This really is a custom quilting technique. It allows you to stitch it up a notch, really accent your piecing, elevate it, take it to the next level. So I hope that you enjoyed learning how to design a motif with me today. If you'd like to learn more about this process, definitely check out the November-December issue of Quilt Maker magazine. Until next time, let's go quilt!